narcissistic abuse is unlike any other form of abuse. Now, we are acquainted with many forms of abuse, even legal abuse, even financial abuse. I mean, of course, verbal, psychological, sexual, physical. There are as many ways to abuse someone as there are ways to interact with someone. That narcissistic abuse is the only form of abuse that we are aware of that targets everything without a single exception.
Yeah.
It's like a cluster bomb. Narcissistic abuse targets your mind, your past, your future, your physical health, your mental health, your finances, your relationships. You name it. Narcissistic abuse targets everything. And the goal of narcissistic abuse is also different to the goal of other forms of abuse. Other forms of abuse wish to preserve the target of abuse. Abusers in other forms of abuse never eliminate the target of abuse because they would like to continue to abuse. Narcissistic abuse is very reminiscent of murder or serial killers. The narcissist wishes to eradicate, obliterate, eliminate, negate, utterly destroy, devastate the target to the point that she ceases to exist in any meaningful way. And the reason for this is that the shared fantasy, which is how the narcissist interacts with people, not only intimate partners, friends, family, the shared fantasy is a series of kabuki ritualized steps which lead inexorably to devaluation and discard. So devaluation and discard are baked into the shared fantasy because the aim of the shared fantasy is to reenact the early childhood conflict with the mother of origin, with the biological mother. So there is it's compulsive. It's what Freud called repetition compulsion. It's a compulsion. So the narcissist is compelled to destroy you. He first converts you into an enemy in his mind. This is known as persecutory object. And then he needs to destroy you. He needs to destroy you because it's the only way he can separate from you and become an individual the way he failed to do with his mother. So you are like a sacrificial lamb. He has to sacrifice you in order to please the deity, the divinity that is the false self. More generally, narcissism is a bit like religion. It's a religion, it's a private religion, where there is a God figure, a Godhead. And the Godhead is the false self, because the false self is godlike. It's omniscient, it's omnipotent, it's like God, it's perfect. And the narcissist feels compelled to sacrifice, human sacrifice, to this God. So the first sacrifice is the true self of the narcissist. And then the narcissist goes through life sacrificing other people to the false self, including and especially his intimate partners. So narcissistic abuse is the psychological equivalent of murder, assassination, simply. It's a very serious form of abuse. That's why it's on fire. That's why it's a buzzword. That's why it's like all over the place. People are talking today about narcissistic abuse. People today focus on narcissistic abuse much more than they focus on borderline abuse, for example, because it's a much more serious phenomenon, actually. You need to die. You need to die for the narcissist to survive, for the narcissist to become an individual, for the narcissist to exist. You need to die. You need to be sacrificed to the narcissist's false self within a ritualized, ceremonial, pseudo-religious shared fantasy.